The wind howled, the waves crashed against the desolate shoreline of Gilgo Beach. It was a cold December day in 2010. The air was thick with the salty tang of the ocean and an unsettling sense of foreboding. A police dog barked, a sharp sound that cut through the silence. It had found something, a human skull. Not far away, another grim discovery, then another, and another. 4 bodies lay scattered in the dunes, wrapped in burlap sacks. They were the first, but not the last. The women, all petite and in their 20s, worked as escorts and advertised on Craigslist. They vanished months earlier. Their families and friends had reported them missing, their pleas for help ignored. Now, their worst fears had been realized. The discovery sent shockwaves through Long Island and beyond. Who was the monster preying on these vulnerable women? The isolated stretch of Gilgo Beach became synonymous with terror. The once popular spot for beachgoers was now a hunting ground. A killer walked among the unsuspecting, leaving a trail of death and despair. The investigation was just beginning, but it was already clear this was no ordinary crime. The victims were mothers, daughters, sisters. They were loved. They had dreams. Their lives cut tragically short. The Long Island serial killer, as he would come to be known, had stolen their futures. The hunt for the killer was on, a race against time to stop him before he claimed another victim. The 4 bodies found that December day became known as the Gilgo Four. They were Melissa Barthelemy, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Megan Waterman and Amber Lynn Costello. All 4 had been strangled. Their bodies were found close to each other, carefully posed. As the investigation unfolded, more bodies surfaced. Some were found whole, others just skeletal remains. The body count grew, each discovery adding a new layer of horror to the case. The victims shared similarities: young women, often involved in sex work, their lives on the margins of society. The discovery of the additional victims confirmed what many had feared. The Long Island serial killer was methodical. He was ruthless. He chose vulnerable women, knowing they were less likely to be missed. Their disappearances often went unreported, their families and friends left to wonder what had become of them. Were all the victims connected to the same killer? Or were multiple killers operating in the area? The mystery deepened, the puzzle more complex than anyone had imagined. The families of the victims waited, clinging to hope for answers, for justice. The investigation into the Long Island serial killer became a sprawling, complex affair. The FBI joined the case, bringing their resources and expertise to the investigation. Theories abounded, ranging from a lone serial killer to the work of multiple killers, perhaps even a satanic cult. The investigation was plagued by missteps and controversies. Evidence was mishandled, leads were overlooked, public criticism mounted. Questions were raised about the competence of the Suffolk County Police Department. The case became a tangled web of speculation, rumours and dead ends. Years turned into a decade, and still the killer remained elusive. The families of the victims grew increasingly frustrated, their calls for justice seemingly ignored. Adding fuel to the fire was the shadow of corruption hanging over the Suffolk County Police Department. Former Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke, once leading the investigation, was later convicted on unrelated corruption charges. This fueled speculation that his involvement had hindered the case, perhaps even shielding the killer. The families of the victims felt betrayed, their grief compounded by a growing sense that they had been denied justice. Section 4, Justice Served, the arrest of Rex Heuermann. In July 2023, a break in the case. Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect who lived in Massapequa Park, a suburb just a stone's throw from Gilgo Beach, was arrested. Heuermann, a husband and father, lived a seemingly ordinary life. But behind closed doors, a more sinister side lurked. Heuermann was charged with the murders of three of the Gilgo Four: Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman and Amber Lynn Costello. He was also named as the prime suspect in the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Prosecutors painted a picture of a predator hiding in plain sight. They pointed to Heuermann's internet search history, which allegedly included searches for torture porn and child pornography. They also cited his alleged possession of burner phones and his attempts to contact sex workers after the murders stopped. Heuermann pleaded not guilty to the charges. His attorney maintained his innocence, claiming he was a victim of circumstance. The arrest sent shockwaves through Long Island and beyond. Could this seemingly ordinary man really be the monster who had terrorized the area for over a decade? The case was far from closed. Many questions remained unanswered. Was Heuermann responsible for all the murders attributed to the Long Island serial killer? Were there other victims?